Go ahead.
We're back in session. Okay, so the next item, moving into JP&L. Trustee McKay, first item is consideration of reappointment of Chris Gallagher to Plan Commission for a partial term, 1-year partial term, expiring next year.
Thank you. So this is coming to full board. Typically, this would be on the consent agenda, but this reappointment has honored previous discussion. As you will recall, with our resolution regarding term limits or terms served allows for an appointee to serve 3 consecutive terms or 11 years. No, 2 consecutive terms or 9 years, whichever's longer. Chris Gallagher has served on the Plan Commission for 2 consecutive terms. However, he is eligible to, by this resolution, to serve 1 more year to be within the limit of 9 years, which is longer than 2 consecutive terms. Correct? Am I messed up? Because there was a partial term that he served at the beginning of tenure. The reason why he's been recommended for reappointment is because he is of great value. His experience, knowledge, and skill set is of great value to the Plan Commission. Staff, the commission chair, President Johnson, the trustee member, what's her name again? Mike Marr, have all concurred that he is of great value to the Plan Commission at this time. And Mr. Gallagher himself would be happy to serve this final year. And so it's with that I'm presenting this to the board this evening. The reason why we've had discussion is that Trustee Amenta has challenged the resolution as far as the length of service. But at this time, no action to amend that resolution has taken place. So for that reason, as chair, I am recommending that we consider this reappointment of Chris Gallagher to the Plan Commission with a term to expire 2018 as a partial term, simply because he has been recommended by all of those people. He has agreed to serve, and our resolution allows for it at this time. If we wanted to amend that resolution, I would take that up as a separate action. So with that, I will make a motion to reappoint Mr. Chris Gallagher to the Plan Commission, term expiration 2018, at partial term.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Trustee Roser?
Is this the first time we've ever done a partial appointment, like for 1 year?
Or that you can remember, or that you've been on, I mean, does anyone remember?
I don't think so. I think we've
Actually,
done it before.
We've done partials at the ends of term. I'm not sure if you've done them at the beginnings of term before or not. I don't know.
Correct. Usually it's appointing someone to a vacated seat. So the first term.
And just
So this is an intentional partial term rather than fulfilling.
right. And was there any other interest from others in the community that would like to serve on the committee?
Yes, we have several residents who are interested in serving.
Any other discussion? Yes.
My contention has been, since I was elected to the board in 2015, that a 9-year, 10, 11, or 12 years terms are way too long. The village, since 2009, when Mr. Gallagher came onto the Plan Commission, the village is a very, very different place. And I think their suggestion of, for example, I think we saw with the public reaction to the Wilson Drive process that there was a large number of people who, from that neighborhood and throughout the village, who are just not interested in seeing development on Wilson Drive. And I think also the discussion about the River Park parcel, where even the board unanimously said, no, we don't, the plan commission voted to keep the commercial zoning for the one property at Edgewood and Oakland. Although the public has moved on, and even the board unanimously said, no, that should remain parkland and not be up for development. I guess what I'm saying is, I think the political reality, the public awareness is very different from 2009. Maintaining people who, for such long terms, especially on the plan commission, is not moving forward, is not forward thinking, is not moving forward, is not in keeping with a village that is in tune with its residents and with democratic principles. We're elected for 3-year terms. I'm not sure why Mr. Gallagher is here for, and other people who serve such long terms. It makes no sense to me, given that the public elects us every 3 years. So that's all I have to say about it.
Trustee Mendon, did you,
Yes.
you've requested for an amendment to this resolution, to this policy, right? Or is it policy, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I mean,
just not
I asked in 2015 for it to be reviewed, and was told that JPL chose not to take it up. And it was discussed, I believe, when Trustee Zovic and Trustee McKay met, and the decision was made. I don't know, my recollection,
It hasn't come to board.
it has not come to full board, but it did not seem to be the will of the committee to amend the resolution on term limits.
Yes, it was not.
It was not. So that's why it's not before us simultaneously.
Trustee Maher?
Well, it's not before us because this is what's before us. That would be a separate action.
Trustee Maher?
These appointments aren't automatic. I mean, there is a term limit, or there's a 9-year or 3 terms, but the person is reappointed. If we
It's
don't,
2 terms to 9 years.
so if we don't want to reappoint them, we don't have to. But in the case of Mr. Gallagher, I think he's a very valuable asset to the Planning Commission. When his term, we actually hit this term, this arbitrary term, I think it's a loss to the community. I don't always agree with him, but he brings a lot of expertise to the committee. He also is involved, it's critical. We have a number of members that are just from the community, bring that perspective, but it helps to have somebody who's in a planning area and works with developers and understands the costs. Routinely, he will bring up points in our consideration that are key to what considering the rezoning or what the development is. And he really adds a lot, and I think it's important for the Planning Commission to have at least a couple people on it that are actually day-to-day operating with the impacts of zoning and the cost of development, and brings that technical skill to the Planning Commission.
Trustee Rosick?
I'm not interested in debating about the actual individual. I'm concerned, I just haven't been part of the committee discussions, I apologize. Why is that 2, I mean, I understand the 2 terms and coming out, but then you've got this extra, why is the 2 terms not the same as the 9-year? Like, why is that period not the same?
Because because some terms are longer on different boards and commissions.
Yeah, you got some terms that are 5 years and some terms that
But then
are
it
3
would be
years.
But the
So
point
that
is,
would only be.
right, so that policy is not.
So it'd be 3 3s is 9
I
and
understand it's not before us, we haven't had a chance
2
to
5s
talk
is
about that
10.
policy.
Yeah.
Right, and
Right now, it's not the time either.
No.
It would be scheduled then at some point here.
if somebody makes a motion to amend that resolution. So we discussed it, we reviewed the policy, you can't do that
We
today. You can
can't
make
do
a
it because
motion
it's
to add
never
it.
agendized.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, so it's
So we
moved
can
to
never
talk about
discuss
it
We
that
now.
talked about
policy.
this in 2015, so.
We never can discuss that policy.
Find a way,
What?
find a way.
I'll make a motion to
I've
add
tried
it.
through
I
the
would like to make
appropriate
a motion
committee,
to add
and
it
I
to the next
cannot get
agenda.
the committee to approve discussing it, so.
David, I make a motion to add it to the next agenda.
That would be items for future consideration. We're not at right now.
I know I said I wasn't going to say anything else, but I just want to say in the interviews, we have someone who has served as a current planner for a city for 4 years. There's a big difference between planning and development. Mr. Gallagher is an architect / developer. He understands planning, but his mindset and his approach is primarily development oriented. Planners are also concerned with development, but they're coming from a public sector and the greater good. Developers, planning and development are separate things. Maybe we need a development commission. We already have that, that's the CDA. So.
Any other discussion?
We have another position open on the planning commission.
We have one thing.
Okay. Mrs. Fitz.
Okay. Call the question. All in favor of the reappointment for the 1-year term for Mr. Gallagher, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Passes 4-2.
I just want to let everyone know, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning. And the thunderstorm is approaching at 11 o'clock, not to rush anything, but I just want to let everyone know that at 11 o'clock we will be hit by a severe
Well,
thunderstorm.
everyone recess at 11, do we?
Okay?
That's what you want.
Okay, now we'll move on to item B2.
You'll just tell us when the alarm goes off that we go in the basement. How's
Yeah,
that?
okay, I'll let you know. I'm tracking it.
Trustee McKay,
Go ahead.
consideration of ordinance 2077 for the code amendment referencing Wisconsin State Department of Commerce, Department of Safety and Professional Services.
Yes. So what we have before us is what we often refer to as a housekeeping issue, where at the state level there was legislative changes that have shifted control over matters that were previously handled by the Department of Commerce, Safety and Buildings Division to the Department of Safety and Professional Services, Industry Services Division, SPS. So our village attorney, Nathan Bear, has gone through the previous ordinance and basically swapped out every time the reference is made to the old division and updated it with the new division. And then so that our village code is consistent with the state statute. So with that, I will just put a motion on the floor, and then if we have specific questions for Mr. Bear, we can offer those at that time. I recommend that we approve ordinance 277 for proposed code amendments referencing Wisconsin State Department of Commerce, Department of Safety and Professional Services.
Second.
Discussion?
I just have one comment. I think we talked about this at the last board meeting. If when we change ordinances or any type of policy, if we can redline it, just so we are aware of what changed, even though it's somehow, it's not. Right.
It's quite time consuming
We'll just
to
know
take.
that it's
Quite time consuming to take a new version and compare it word for word to an old version. It's a lot easier for everyone if there's a red line strike through for us to compare the changes. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? This will be a roll call vote.
Trustee Bachhorst.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee McKay.
Yes.
Trustee Rozak.
Yes.
Trustee Menta.
Yes.
President Johnson.
Yes.
The vote is 6-0.
Okay, next item, not on anybody's committee, but discussion and possible consideration of Atwater lifeguards. I'll turn this over to our interim village manager.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry to have to bring you yet another problem on my very first village board meeting. But this was, I guess, has been around for a little over a month now. And I believe trustees were earlier provided a bit of informal information. The village staff was notified back in early April that Milwaukee County government would not be able to provide lifeguards for the Atwater Beach facility for the village this coming season. Obviously, the staff was taken back a bit. We've had an annual contract with the county that's been renewed on a pretty regular basis for a good number of years. Obviously, they have a lot of aquatic facilities, and they hire and use a lot of lifeguards each year, both those that have the beachfront certification can work in the heavy water as well as those that don't have just a pool certification and are working in the regular swimming pools. And they have the staff to hire and train, and they run their own certification classes. According to the county staff, they've had a tremendous problem, particularly this year, with hiring adequate personnel. Tyler did contact the school district, which has the Shorewood recreation activity as a component. They indicated they've had a similar problem, and they would not be able to help us this year. When I found out about the problem last week, I put in a phone call with Tyler's assistant, and we talked both to the aquatic director and also the director of operations for the county park district, because we weren't real pleased to have received such late notice. Didn't really leave the village much time to do anything else. There are limited outside agencies with whom we can contract, and as you know, the village itself does not have a recreation or leisure services operation, and we don't have people with that particular expertise on staff to be hiring and training and supervising of the lifeguards. The conversation